Hi, I'm Alistair Ben of Expressive Photography, and you're watching What Makes This Photograph Great. Today I'm going to talk about this photograph, which is by my dear friend Adam Gibbs. It stands pride of place in our kitchen here, and we get to enjoy it every single day. Now, I've been a huge fan of Adam's work for decades, actually. I first became aware of his work not long after I got into photography back in the early 2000s. And he always struck me as someone whose work had a really classic feel. I knew that he'd been a medium format photographer for many years, and that classic compositional themes and authenticity of the colour space had always really impressed me. Back in 2014 was the first time that we actually met in person, when I travelled out to the Canadian Rockies and we had an opportunity to hang out together at the Mount Assiniboine area and had some phenomenal times shooting together both sunrises and sunsets, and really getting to know each other. And I just have such fond memories of sitting in the big kitchens there and just laughing endlessly about stupid things. So it was a friendship that's been born out of mutual respect, I think, where we both really admire each other's work, but equally common values, love of the outdoors, both rock climbers in our youth, just a real passion for conservation and the environment. So at the end of the day, Adam and I go back quite a long way, and we actually got to hang out a few weeks ago when he was over in Scotland, as you will have noticed in his vlogs. And please do check out Adam's channel. He's just one of the great people here on YouTube, and of course as a photographer. Now, with photographs like this, on my members channel, I've got my own private Expressive Photographers community over on our website. We've been talking recently about subjectivity versus objectivity, and is it possible to say that something is definitively good or bad, or is it all subjective? Is it all just opinion? And at the end of the day, that could be an interesting theme for us to look at today. Is this a photograph that would be universally liked, or will people not like it? And I think that's a very important thing. Is it any different from our taste in music? I could pick up a guitar and play something that some of you may like, maybe some Pink Floyd or something like that, and other people would hate it. So there's no objective good or bad. But with photography, I think there is definitely, to my mind anyway, there are things that will make photographs great. This is the third image in the series, and I think this is an excellent example of a photograph that transcends the subject. It goes beyond just a single tree in this amazing atmospheric landscape. So let's dive in and have a look at what it is about this photograph that I think makes it great. The thing that strikes you about photographs like this is that the 5 triggers that I always talk about in the landscape: luminosity, contrast, geometry, colour and atmosphere. All of them are present in this photograph, and I do believe that it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. The single tree, luminous in an otherwise dark landscape, shining out with all of these branches and twigs radiating out from it. It's such a powerful indicator, you know, it just demands our attention. You can't stop looking at it because it's so luminous and we are attracted to that. There's an order juxtaposed with chaos in it. All the branches and the twigs seem very random, whereas you've got this incredibly solid single trunk going up the center of the frame there. The fact that Adam has used the trunk to split the frame in two creates this beautiful symmetry, but it's equally not symmetrical because the left and the right, there's quite significant differences. You can see here some of the background trees there. There's a busier side is the left-hand side, and a quieter, more atmospheric side is actually the right-hand side. So while there is a feeling of symmetry, it is not symmetrical. And I think that's it's a curious thing for our mind to have to deal with. Photography spans a huge spectrum of styles, of meanings and purposes, utilities. And this, to me, just strikes me of fine art. It's just a classic fine art photograph. It is meant to be studied. It is meant to be the centerpiece of a room so that people can see it every day and just remember why they love it, first and foremost. So let's look at the 5 triggers in more detail. The luminosity, we can see that the light is very subtly coming from the right-hand side of the frame, and it is creating a little bit of 3-dimensionality. It's kind of odd, actually, because there's a little bit of dodging and burning on both sides. I don't know whether that's an Adam processing thing, or so the light is actually a bit more ambiguous. It may be coming from straight down or something like that. But there is a beautiful luminosity that creates this sense of 3-dimensionality. Secondly, the contrast. The background is quite dark. We can see the background here. There's quite a strong sense of a vignette going on, which I presume is just a natural vignette in the background, different types of vegetation. It would be very difficult to achieve that through processing. And I know that this isn't the sort of thing that Adam would do too much. So I think that vignette is probably quite natural. I do know the circumstances surrounding the creation of this photograph, where I believe it was Abraham Lake or somewhere near there in the Canadian Rockies, and he was with some other people and they were wanting to photograph ice bubbles, and Adam wandered off and found this instead. So I think that's another typically Adam thing to do. So the luminosity and contrast create this quite striking dark image with this beautiful front and center luminous tree. We've talked something of the geometry, the frame being bisected, and then this sort of asymmetry on either side of that. And then the atmosphere, this very shallow depth of field. I've talked about atmosphere an awful lot on this channel, and it is an incredibly powerful emotional trigger. We love atmosphere, fog rolling over hills, or flowing water, or very atmospheric conditions like rain or snow, ice. All of these things are atmospheric. But shallow depth of field is also a very strong atmospheric element because it's creating a diffusion, a blur, a bokeh, a fogginess, a diffused quality. And as soon as we have that, we can feel our heart start to soar a little bit. So we've got this incredible luminous subject juxtaposed against this very diffused atmospheric background, and the color is incredibly subtle. The actual color, it's actually on 3 different monitors in my room here. I've got my ISO color calibrated monitor here, I've got a MacBook Pro there, and I've got my big TV monitor here, which I use for music. And it looks subtly different in all of them, but the print, which I believe is very pure, is much closer to the image I'm looking at on my ISO monitor here. And it's got this very delicate toning to it. It's the merest hint of a colour. And that, as I talk about in the Colour of Meaning ebook that I wrote last year, colour has a very, very strong impact on our emotions. The cooler it is, the more kind of calm and austere and slightly melancholic it is going to feel. The warmer things get, that's when we get the energy, and we think about sunrises and sunsets or golden light. They're energetic. They make us feel more alive. So this is an incredible photograph. The skill to notice things like this, to compose it, I would imagine intuitively by now. I don't think Adam really thinks too much about his compositions when he's doing it. And that's the beauty of his channel, is you get to listen to that process of what his subconscious is doing. And he has to explain what he's doing for our benefit, really. But I think Adam's like me, is that we do these things kind of subconsciously. It's just such a beautiful photograph. And like I said, as soon as I saw it, I approached Adam and we bought a print. Adam didn't give us this print, we bought it. And as I would urge any of you to buy a print or a book or anything from the artists that you admire, it helps support their work. And it's an acknowledgement of how much we love something. It's as simple as that. So if something like this is powerful to you, jump onto Adam's website and buy one of his prints, because they're totally worth it. I think what I want to do, ending here, is to consider this objective and subjective thing for one more time. There are qualities to this photograph: the luminosity, the contrast, the color, the atmosphere, the geometry. We have all 5 of those things working. And some people may think it's a busy photograph, whereas in actual fact, there's a simplicity to it also. The shallow depth of field is helping to create that simplicity. It's creating a diffused background on which the actor can play out, the tree being the main actor or performer. Think about, going to the theatre or going to a gig or a concert. The main subject is lit beautifully. If you're spending your time looking at the scenery while the opera singer is singing her aria, you're probably... the production hasn't done a very good job of focusing your attention on what the most important thing is. And I think Adam's done this beautifully here, where he's made the subject super clear, very, very obvious. And I think that's what makes it great for me, is that it's very unambiguous. It's kind of in your face. It's quite challenging. But the other thing I want to kind of just think about here is, what else is it? This is an old expression, don't photograph what you see, what else is it that you're seeing? And this always reminds me a little bit of like neurons, it's like your nervous system with all of these little branches spreading out, bringing texture and tactility all across your body. And it reminds me a little bit like that, like this neuron network in the body. Geek alert. But yeah, like I said, it holds pride of place in our kitchen. We walk in the front door and there it is. And at the moment, with the Christmas tree there, the sparkly lights of the tree are reflecting in the glass, and it creates another more magical feel to it as well. I'm an old romantic at heart, and I think I'd have a Christmas tree up all year round if I could get away with it. It brings so much joy to our big old kitchen in there. But this photograph is pride of place. It's been on the wall now for about 6 months, and we get to see it every day, and it is such a fascinating thing to walk into. We always get great pleasure from it. So hopefully this little dissection of why I think it's a great photograph has been helpful in how you can approach your analysis. And I think this is what we should be thinking about, is it's all well and good to go, nah, I don't like it, nah, I don't like it, oh, that's a nice photo, nah, I don't like that one. Instagram and all of these social media feeds, we're getting used to consuming photography very quickly. With a somewhat disposable nature. Small screens, even a biggish iPhone. Instagram doesn't rotate, so you're looking at it on a small screen most of the time. When you're consuming your photography like that, you're not encouraged to engage with it for terribly long. A lot of the details are lost. Obviously, this 27-inch monitor that I'm looking at here, the image is nice and big and I can enjoy it, or of course the print is even bigger. But if you don't like something, you should be asking yourselves, well, why don't I like it? And sometimes it might be the processing. Sometimes it might be the color palette. It might be the subject matter. There might be various reasons why you don't like something. There might be obvious flaws in it. It might be sensor spots or an uneven horizon or something like that that really bothers you. Ask these questions, because you will learn from the answers. Become analytical. As educators, myself and all of the other people who do so, we get used to analysing and having to explain everything that we feel. And this is why this is such a useful process for me. This is the first time I've really sat down and looked at this photograph with an analytical mindset rather than just an appreciation of it. And I think that's an incredibly useful skill for you to develop for your own photography. Why do I love it? Why don't I love it? Same with music. You might not like the lyrics, you might not like the style, you might not like the instruments that are being played, you might not like the way the singer looks. And there's all sorts of reasons why we don't like things. And when it comes to photography, examine those reasons. Understand your preferences, because that will lead you to your own resonance. The way you will create your best work is understanding what it is in the landscape, what it is about different subjects or different light conditions or different color palettes or the different use of luminosity, color, contrast, geometry and atmosphere. All of these things should be explored. Just on the close there, I've extended the 25% discount right through December until the 26th of December. So that's Boxing Day for those of us who celebrate such things. 26th of December, 25% off anything in the store. Luminosity and contrast, the color of meaning, creativity, superpowers, black and white processing, dodge and burn masterclass, all of these things will be 25% off. So please grab yourself a discount while you can. And I did mention the membership channel, the Expressive Photographers community, the forum that I built in the summer. Growing fast now, amazing group of people there, giving such incredible insight into each other's photographs, posting things that would die on social media but get praised hugely on our community because it's expressive, it's unique, and it's personal. So do yourself a favor and consider checking out the subscription either monthly or annually. Wednesday next week, I will be joined by an incredible photographer and educator from Australia, Mr. Len Metcalf. Anybody who works or lives in Australia knows who Len is. He's an incredibly influential guy. I interviewed him last week for the Vision and Light series. We had an incredible, in-depth and insightful conversation about the creative process and expression and individuality and the power of photography. All of these things, we just had a really incredible deep dive. So please join me on Wednesday, where I am spending nearly an hour, I think, with Len Metcalf. I'm sure you'll really, really enjoy that if you want to kickstart your enthusiasm again, moving in towards the new year. Thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of What Makes This Photo Great. I love it, and I hope you do too. And please check out Adam and his channel, and of course his print store on his website, because he is truly one of the great photographers of our time, and we're lucky to have him around at this moment. So please show him some love and gratitude. He's one of my dearest friends and I love him to bits. So if you're watching this, Adam, love you, buddy. Bye for now.